I'm doing it again. After Image makes your normal attacks fire a projectile that deals magical damage. It also comes with 2 pretty good inscriptions and is overall not a bad item, but is sometimes forgotten and overlooked in favor of stronger ones. But what happens if I have 9? I'm also going to be cheeky and use a modded in dev tool to turn on turbo attack, so by holding down my attack button, it repeats my attack as fast as possible. Well, damn, who would have guessed that having dozens upon dozens of little homing balls chasing after enemies would be really strong? It seems to be a recurring theme in Skul that if you're looking for the strongest spam builds, balls are the way to go. Honestly, this one feels like it might have full run potential, like it might not fall off once you get a certain way into it, but I could be wrong. However, just based on Act 1, this feels pretty good. But I'm not done with the mummy just yet, because we also have Thief Armor. When attacking with our normal attacks, we throw a ninja star that deals physical damage, and critical hits will throw a giant star that deals more damage and pierces through enemies. Oh, and this is your average mummy reminder that if you hold up and attack, he can indeed shoot straight up, and if you have items like Thief Armor and After Image, it doesn't matter, they're still gonna shoot out the front side of his body, so you can technically cover 2 angles at once. And then of course they decide to give me the Sorceress Girl for the test, which makes it a little bit more difficult, but thankfully she's gonna come and land down next to me and allow me to shoot her to death. I shouldn't say that out loud. The Acceleration Sword is a pretty cool idea, but has been rather underwhelming since its release. Every 14 seconds, it swings automatically and deals physical damage. The more attack speed you have, the more often this thing swings. Now, all of my swords actually have like a microsecond in between their timers due to actually picking up all 9 of them, because I can't pick all of them up at the exact same time, so what we actually are going to get is a pretty cool cycle effect where each one triggers back to back to back to back, which might be, you know, cooler looking than if they all just went off at once and it looked like I only had 1 sword. Now, it's a pretty cool looking effect, but I don't think it would hold up for an entire run. I think it would drop off by at least Act 2 even. I don't think it would even last that long. It'd probably just get stale by the time you get to the second adventurer fight. You're simply waiting too long for this thing to activate due to not having a lot of other speed baked in. And for some reason, the actual timer between them is falling out. I don't know what's gone wrong here, but they're not even synced up the same anymore. If anything, the arms effect that I'm getting is more powerful than the items themselves. Yeah. Now, the Acceleration Sword isn't a one-of-a-kind because the Rapid Sword of the Subconscious has a very similar effect. It deals physical damage to a random nearby enemy every 13 seconds. Unlike the Rapid one, you cannot increase the speed of this, but the difference is that it's going to hit a nearby enemy with a little bit better tracking, but does it do more damage? Wow. Just so you know, the effective range of these swords is also rather deceptive, leading to potential cheese like you're seeing right here. It means you can get a little bit more creative with how you choose to use it as opposed to having to stand on top of your enemies. It's not absolutely terrible, but due to the long wait time in between the attacks, it just becomes very, very slow and will definitely not scale as well later on. Pain and Despair is understandably the most powerful attack speed-based item in the game. At baseline gives you 50% extra attack speed, and for every normal attack skill or dash attack that you do, your attack speed and movement speed is increased by 2 and 1% until they cap out at 40% and 20%. It also comes with rapidity on it, so it just gets even faster from there. This is what it looks like when you start swinging with all 20 stacks on all 9 of these. We have 850% attack speed right now. I'm also able to move at relatively decent speeds while holding down my attack button. I'm still using turbo mode and we're still swinging and moving this fast. Now, I don't know if you caught that right there, but Predator ends up getting so fast with attack speed that it becomes impossible for me to actually mash his skills to get all of the effects out. He just starts doing it for a microsecond, and then it's over. You can't actually spam all of his skills. Some of you were asking about the Hunter's Boots that drop arrows on nearby enemies whenever you dash, all transformed using Masterpiece. Yeah, this one is just straight up busted and crazy. If you pair it with Pike in particular, and then upgrade him to Legendary, let him do all of his fun dash shenanigans, maybe grab the Lightspeed Dark ability, you're in for a good time. You'll obliterate the entire screen easily all your way to the end of the game. The pass down Scabbard is a little bit weird, but whenever you heal, you get a little AoE effect around you that causes physical damage for 10 seconds. With the recent changes made to Relic no longer healing you whenever you enter a room based on the amount of life that you've lost, getting the actual healing effect to proc is a little bit more tedious now than it used to be, so you probably have to go out of your way to trigger a heal in the first place. Thankfully, we have Dracula to do this for us, so that we can show off how the Scabbard does its damage. Triggering the heal is definitely the more annoying part in order to refresh the duration. I'd say if you were going to do this for a proper run, maybe take Ghoul and deliberately let yourself just get hurt repeatedly so that you can keep this effect activating, because if you're relying on grabbing healing orbs, yeah, you're not really going to see this activate all the time, especially later in the run. The condition for activating this is definitely what's holding it back from being a particularly viable 9s build, but if you do pair it with other items or other skulls and focus on some healing, maybe like the Rejuvenating Root or Ghoul, you'll be able to see good uptime on this because it doesn't have an internal cooldown. But definitely not viable for a long run on its own. For sure, one of the most powerful Omen items, the Idol of the Forgotten, is ridiculous. Whenever you swap, you create an Omen energy-filled area that's so gooey and claggy it would make Shrek feel like he was right at home. The attack power between physical or magical determines what this is, so it doesn't matter what kind of build you're doing, it will always do the right type of damage for your skull. On top of that, the actual damage that this thing deals is considered alternating skill damage, so the Mutant's 3 stack, which increases the damage that you deal based on the level of your skull, seems to matter. It's a stupidly powerful item right at home on any swap build like Recruit, Gravy, Living Armor, or even the infamous double Kabooma build. You could imagine what that's like. Speaking of omens, we have the Sword of Chaos. Whenever you do your basic attack, thorns emerge from the ground in front of you, doing damage to your enemy with physical or magical damage depending on whatever's higher. Internal cooldown of 4 seconds. This isn't fantastic, and the fact that it is an omen item might be what holds it back a little bit, as even just having one of these will make you take 50% increased damage, which can kinda suck. The damage here is ridiculous. It's actually pretty good, but just like with any Omen item, having to deal with the Omen stacks is what's going to kill you in the run, so it doesn't really matter how much damage you're doing. What matters is how much damage you're not getting hit by. The next Omen item, the Soul Killer, is incredibly simple. You do a basic attack and the Soul Killer swings, doing damage depending on whatever's higher between physical and magical. It really is just that simple. It's an addition to your basic attack. Now I know what you're thinking, but Beelz, please, you handsome devil, why would you not do this with Mummy, especially with the dev tool using turbo attack that you have? And you're right, and that's why I am doing exactly that. Yeah, this one's unironically very strong, and just like with Afterimage and the Thief Armor, this pairs incredibly well with the Mummy, with the major downside of, once again, they're omens, so you're definitely more at risk of dying. I still think using Thief Armor or the Afterimage is the way to go if you're going to do a really fast, spammy Mummy run. But I mean, you could do this if you're looking for a challenge. The Scepter of Whispers causes thorns to attack nearby enemies every 6 seconds, dealing damage based on whatever's higher between physical and magical. Alright, the next one's a little bit more obscure, I'm not gonna lie. The Revelation of the Red Star, and it's not too good. Long story short, you smack a dude with an attack and it creates a black hole effect on the ground, 10-second cooldown. It draws enemies in, similar to something like the Raven Monarch's Feather, and after 2 seconds, it collapses. It'll do more damage based on how many enemies were actually sucked into the vortex in the first place, I've shown off what it's like having 9 bibbles before, but it's such a fun thing to do that I'm doing it again. You can't stop me. Long story short, you recover life whenever you kill 10 enemies. That's going to be your win condition, because whenever you do recover some life, regardless of however you do it, you gain wings that last for 10 seconds. Your damage is increased by 80% and your movement speed is boosted by 50% for the duration of these wings. A random enemy is punished every 2 seconds. The punishment inflicts damage based on the higher attack between physical and magical, so it doesn't actually matter what you are. This is going to work all the time, every time. God damn it, I ran out of healing. You saw nothing. Yeah, unsurprisingly, this is insanely powerful, and if you do have a way of getting some healing attached to yourself, whether it be through piety, whether it be through a root, whether it be through the vampire, would actually be incredibly powerful for something like this, or even just ghoul, doesn't matter. You're going to be God mode and just blitz your way through the game easy peasy. Now this is a fun one, the Chosen Thieves Twin Swords. This item actually breaks the game in a very, very unique way and makes it incredibly difficult to even finish the run, not because it's bad, but because it's so overwhelmingly powerful. It actually makes it harder for you to win. But I've already done a dedicated video on this, so I'm going to put the thumbnail on the screen and leave a link in the description for you guys to go check that one out if you want to see why this item in particular is so nasty when you have lots of them. Going back to the silly attack speed stuff, we have the Goldmane Rapier, one of the unique items dropped from the Sisters battle in Act 2. This increases your attack speed by 20%, and every third normal attack, you create a golden wound that attacks a nearby enemy, much like the Sisters do. We have 9 of these, so all those speed effects are all stacking up, as well as the 4 rapid, giving us 310% base attack speed, only getting higher as we... Yikes. As we continue to attack. I don't know if you can hear that, but I sure as hell can. That is deafening. Yep. Yep, that's tinnitus in my ear. That's what that sounds like. I understand. Yeah, this one's also pretty dumb. Definitely turn your volume down if you're gonna do this one, but you know, I could see some potential here. I don't know if it's as good as the Thief Armor or the After Image, but it's definitely a different flavor of the same idea. At least this way you'll be deaf. Alright, next up, one of the most popular and most requested items to see 9 of, and that is the Evil Sword Kyrian. This thing already has a bit of a storied past when it comes to having duplicates of it, because when it first came out, there was a bit of an oversight, bit of a bug, where you could evolve your Forbidden Sword into a Kyrian, and then find another Forbidden Sword. The same thing has recently happened with the Necronomicon. But if you found another Forbidden Sword, you could just evolve it all over again. On top of things like getting the slime to duplicate it, you could end up with multiple Kyrians, which led to insanely broken runs. And last but not least for this video, it's only fitting that after showing off Kyrian, we show off the all-new magical equivalent, the Demonomicon. It works very much the same as Kyrian in that it has a condition to evolve a lesser item into its perfect form. The Demonomicon increases your magical damage by 60%, and every time you use 4 skills, you get one of 3 different spells that trigger and occur for 10 seconds. Now, I have 9 of these. There's 3 different types of spells that can occur. We're going to get some overlap, but hopefully we'll get all 3 activated at once and see just how stupid this is. Yeah, I mean, unsurprisingly, it's really stupid strong. Who would have thought having 9 of this thing is really good when normally just having 1 on its own is powerful enough? And there you go, dudes, a few more examples of the big dumb using a 9 of the same item to become either grossly powerful or just kinda and realize that not all of these items are made equally. Let me know down below which of these was your favorite, or maybe it's one I haven't shown yet, in which case tell me why. But with all of that said and done, I've got to get out of here. I hope you guys have enjoyed some more 9 nonsense, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.